Financial inclusion is seen as a state in which all who can use financial facilities have access to a complete set of quality services provided at cheap prices in a fitting method and with dignity for customers. Furthermore, it signifies a state where financial services are provided by a variety of providers, mostly private sector operators, and reach everyone who can use them, including the poor, disabled, rural, and other excluded populations. This also applies to Islamic finance, which also serves as a way to enhance financial inclusion by bringing those who are self-excluded on the basis of religious concerns to the financial system, and it can use the same mechanisms and techniques of the conventional finance fair to target different segments of people that are unbanked, such as microfinance, microinsurance, and mobile money accounts. On today's program, we'll be discussing Islamic finance, fintech, and financial inclusion, as it is critical for increasing economic opportunities for nations like Nigeria. Joining us to discuss the topic is the founder and CEO of Esusu Africa, Mr. Abdulazeez Oguntoyinbo. It's a great pleasure to have you on our Islamic Finance Weekly program.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to join you at this session.
Thank you. You're welcome. Nigeria is currently targeting an 80% adult financial inclusion rate by 2020. With the COVID-19 pandemic, is this achievable, and how can the fintech industry support in this regard?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's pertinent to note that the COVID-19 pandemic has affected several sectors, several businesses, and financial services providers. Relating it to the achievement of the financial inclusion mandate set by CBN, I think looking at the current numbers now, we won't say it's not achievable, but it's subject external and internal factors. We have definitely digital transformation strategies is the way to go now. Most of all these financial services providers that rely that work with this informal sector, particularly what relating to what we do at Esusu, provide digital platforms to cooperatives, microfinance institutions, and local Esusu collectors to help them automate their processes. So during this COVID-19 pandemic, the effect, they've not been actually operating. Some of them have even shut down their offices due to this lockdown and isolation. And it's really affects the increase in financial inclusion. So you're looking at it, I think it's subject to the influence based on the external and internal factors. And I believe comparing the current numbers we have, as at 2nd of August, if you look at the NIPS counter, you have over 42 million registered bank accounts with BVN. And the target for that for registration of bank account is 70 million by December 2020. So amidst other savings, credit, insurance, and pension, KPIs, I think it's something we need to look at. We won't say it's not realistic, but we need to really do more.
Yes, this is welcome development. We need to collaborate and work more in order to achieve this. So according to EFINA, the Northwest and Northeast, dominated by the Muslim population, account for the highest distribution with financially excluded adults. How can Islamic finance fintech companies help to broaden financial services to the unbanked in these regions?
Yeah, it's very clear because mostly the financially excluded people are coming from the north. And you will be wondering why. This is something subject to religious belief, because predominantly majority of them are Muslims. And they have this belief of not banking in interest. Looking at what Islamic finance companies and fintech companies can collaboratively do, I think is something like developing product, fintech product, Islamic fintech product that is tailored towards addressing their religious belief, so that they are well protected, because they don't want to touch interest. And this is something that can be really addressed by strategic collaboration by the different stakeholders, the non-interest financial institutions, working with the community leaders in terms of the imams and their religious leaders also, and Islamic organizations and institutions. I think it's something that really bridge the gap of financial exclusion, particularly the one coming from the north.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdulazeez, for your insight. For me, when talking about financial inclusion, the main focus is on account ownership data, including key aspects such as savings, accessing credit, and managing financial risk. I will say 80% inclusion will require considerably more effort by everyone. Thank you. This takes me to my next question. According to EFINA, the Northwest and Northeast, dominated by the Muslim population, account for the highest distribution with financially excluded adults. Mr. Oguntoyinbo, how can Islamic finance fintech companies help to broaden financial services to the unbanked in these regions?
Yeah, it's very clear because mostly the financially excluded people are coming from the north, and you will be wondering why. This is something subject to religious belief because predominantly majority of them are Muslims, and they have this belief of not banking in interest. Looking at what Islamic finance companies and fintech companies can collaboratively do, I think is something like developing product, fintech product, Islamic fintech product that is tailored towards addressing their religious belief, so that they are well protected because they don't want to touch interest. And this is something that can be really addressed by strategic collaboration by the different stakeholders, the non-interest financial institutions, working with the community leaders in terms of the imams and their religious leaders also, and Islamic organizations and institutions. I think it's something that really bridge the gap of financial exclusion, particularly the one coming from the north.
In an age of digital technology and innovation, how can fintech companies like Esusu collaborate with banks to provide innovative non-interest finance products that can deepen the Islamic finance industry?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. And practically, we've started because at Esusu Africa, we also have a strategic focus in Islamic finance, and we've been doing something. We have a dedicated subsidiary called Alad Invest. It's a digital marketplace to facilitate Alad savings, Alad investments, Takafu, and several other zero interest loans. So we're doing this in partnership with several stakeholders. We have the non-interest financial institutions, we have the Islamic asset management firms, and so we already have players. We're partnership with SunTrust, we're partnership with Cornerstone Takafu. So it's already there. The beta version is already there, and people can easily download the app and get access to Islamic financial products and services compared to several other investment apps or several loan apps that is not in line with their belief. And we strongly believe that this product will greatly influence to reduce the gap in terms of financial exclusion, and we will really strategically focus on this at the Esusu.
It's a welcome development, and I believe your company collaborating with banks will improve financial services in the country. Thank you very much. Recently, non-interest banks like Jaiz Bank hosted a Pitch Innovation Challenge for Islamic fintech companies. How can this be increased and encouraged by other industry players across the country to enable more fintech to access funding and support?
Thank you very much. I think if you look at it compared to conventional finance, you look at there are several programs, projects, hackathons, competitions to facilitate motivation into this the terrain. But if you look at the Islamic finance ecosystem, we rarely find such. And thank God for Jaiz Bank for taking that bold step to initiate this pitch competition in response to COVID-19. And I believe more of that needs to be done, not only by financial service providers in the Islamic finance ecosystem, but by several other stakeholders. And I'm happy to even let you know that One of the quarterfinalists of NASFAT built. That is a competition that is actually championed by a renowned Islamic organization. So this is something that several other stakeholders need to be doing so that we can actually bring in new players into the industry. The industry is still very, very is not ripe yet. So we need to see how most of all these initiatives can drive interesting products, can drive adoption and towards deepening financial inclusion. So it's more of something that needs to be done by several stakeholders. And I believe collaboration is also key here. So we need to build different partnerships. And that's what I feel Halal Invest is doing at Esusu Africa.
Considering the need for scale and increased penetration of the non-interest finance market in Nigeria, what should be the core areas that Islamic fintech companies should focus on to create value and effective service in the financial market?
Islamic finance is a different ecosystem that has guiding principles, unlike conventional financial system. So I think anything we want to do needs to be, bounded by those principles. That's number one thing we need to look at, so that we won't say we are developing, innovative Islamic financial products and it's not in line with those principles. Secondly is we need to look at how we can develop products that will address the low income, segment, the low income segment, people who are not actually earning the basic standard of living. So this is something we need to look at, and I think we have several stakeholders that are really addressing that, but we need more of them to be able to address this problem. So looking at the focus on collaboration and partnership, how we are able to develop products that will be affordable. Affordability of those products are very, very important. Exactly. So you want to give people access to loans. You are saying, okay, this is an Islamic alternative. So you don't also give them a lot of other barriers like burdens and some other costs that will make it expensive for them to access. The simplicity of those products is also very key, so that they can easily access those products anywhere, anytime. And financial inclusion today in Nigeria, as it's well known, you are able to achieve financial inclusion with a robust and simplified technology and a responsive agent network, because you have huge informal sector. So you need to also look at strategy of building distribution network that will actually extend those products, to several rural communities, to several stakeholders, whether digitally or through agents. So this is something you need to look at in terms of the three A's of financial inclusion, and in terms of affordability, accessibility, and appropriateness. So of those products you want to build, you want to actually deliver to this last mile. So collaboration, accessibility, affordability, and appropriateness of the product in line with the guiding principles of the Islamic financial service ecosystem.
What is the outlook for investment in Islamic fintech in Nigeria, and what are the opportunities for women and youth, particularly which institution in Nigeria can they engage in?
Yeah, so if you look at the potential of the Islamic financial market, I think globally you find it over what $2 trillion US dollars. This is let you know that the instrument in Islamic financial ecosystem are very, very they are very strategic, and they are very beneficial. So if you look at the recent Sukuk, how it has really impacted financing strategies. So it was subscribed over 500%, recently. This is not only here in Nigeria. You have several use cases in several other countries. Some of those countries are not even Muslim-based countries. One of the funny aspects. So Islamic finance religious based. So the investment, there's really a lot of investment potential. So in Nigeria, we've not been able to tap that yet. I think the ecosystem players needs to, still do more to see how we can intensify more investment into Islamic financial ecosystem. But I believe it can be used. It has been validated with the Sukuk use case and several other potential products that can be delivered. So more investment can come in. I think we need to see how we can create an enabling environment for those investors. So you have several, like we see what is happening in Malaysia, see what is happening in the likes of Singapore and even UK, how they have been able to leverage Islamic finance investment instruments to really boost their economy. And this can be replicated in Nigeria. So it's validated with the Sukuk. So we can intensify more effort to bring in a lot of other stakeholders into this interesting ecosystem.
Thank you very much. With a population of over 190 million people, research shows that 73.2 million adults, representing 41.6% of the adult population in Nigeria, are financially excluded. Fintech plays a vital role in driving financial service. A convergence between Islamic finance and fintech can help to reach out to millions of unbanked Muslims in Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. Oguntoyinbo, for being a part of our conversation today. We appreciate.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to having you to participate in this interesting session. Thank you very much.
And that brings us to the end of this week's episode on Islamic Finance Weekly. To watch more videos, read news stories, reports, and analysis on Islamic finance, log on to our website www.proshareng.com. Also, you can engage us on our social media handles displaying on the screen. Till we come your way again next week, thank you for watching and bye for now.